कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्यानंदे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So text one, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Prabhuji, we did,
Vacha.
yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we did yesterday 1 and 2, but Prabhuji did mention that maybe we will repeat it today itself, again with you. So
Okay.
there were hardly anybody there yesterday. Hare
Okay.
Krishna. Yeah.
Okay,
Hare
thank
Krishna.
you. Okay, so let's do it again.
Yeah.
Rajo
Thank
Vacha.
Rajavacha.
Na nunam bhagva atma ramanan yoga samirita jnanav bharjita.
Nama Nanunam Bhagava Atmaranam Yoga Samrita Nanavadharajita.
कर्म बीजानाम ऐश्वर्याणि पुनः क्लेशदानि भवितुम अर्हन्ति यदृच्छयोपगतानि.
Parmapichan Aishvaryan Puna Kleshadan Havitun Arhantiya Dricha Yopagatan.
Yes. Would someone like to read?
I can read it. Translation of Bhagavad Gita Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, King Parikshit asked Shukareva Goswami, My dear Lord, for those who are completely pure in the heart, knowledge is attained by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, and attachment for fruitive activity is completely burned to ashes. For such people, the powers of mystic yoga automatically arouse. They do not fear distress. Also, they do not cause distress. Why then indeed subdivers neglect them? The pure devotee is constantly engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever is necessary for the discharge of devotional service is automatically attained, though it may appear to be the result of the mystic yoga power. Sometimes a yogi displays a little yogic power by manufacturing gold. A little quantity of gold captivates foolish people, and thus the yogi gets many followers who are willing to accept such tiny person as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a yogi may also advertise himself as Bhagavan. However, a devotee does not have expert in such magical wonders. Without practicing the mystic yogic process, he achieves even greater opulences all over the world. Under the circumstances, Lord Rishabdeva refused to manifest mystic yogic perfections, and Maharaj Parikshit asked why he did not accept them, since for the devotee they are not at all disturbing. A devotee is never distressed or satisfied by material opulence. His concern is how to please the Supreme Person of Godhead. If by the grace of the Supreme Lord a devotee achieves extraordinary opulence, realizes the opportunity for the Lord's service, not disturbed by opulence.
So, see, a devotee, Krishna Bhakta Nishkamataiva Shant. So, here also, by the grace of the Lord, a devotee attains everything. Actually, whether a devotee attains everything or he doesn't care. Jnana, karma, these, like wealth comes under the category of karma, knowledge or intelligence comes under the category of jnana. A devotee doesn't care for any of this because this is all on material platform. So, this question is actually going to be answered in the next verse. A little bit like if the devotee is still attached to material nature, he would be attracted to wealth and the beauty or opulence of this material world. But if a devotee has no attachment at all, then he doesn't care. Like we see the example of Pundarika Vidyanidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi had everything. But when time came, he renounced everything and started living with Lord Chaitanya. Actually, he was waiting for Lord Chaitanya to manifest his activities fully. And as soon as they manifested, Pundarik Vidyanidhi had nothing more left to do in this world. He left quickly. So that's the condition of a devotee. A devotee doesn't care whether he has wealth or knowledge or not, because he has devotion, and that is all that matters. He's Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na shochati na kankshati. He's neither desiring anything nor is he lamenting anything. Na shochati na kankshati. So no lamentation, no desire. So for a devotee, whether there is opulence or not, it doesn't matter at all. But if someone is contaminated, even to a little bit, to a little extent, he will immediately become captivated by Maya. A devotee, whatever he has, he sees everything as instrument of Krishna. So if there is wealth, he uses that in the service of Krishna. If there is nothing, then he serves Krishna in his own mind. He doesn't care, because spiritual platform is independent of, or the spiritual activities are independent of the platform, whether it is an objective platform or it's a mental platform. It doesn't matter in the spiritual life. So therefore, Maharaj Rishabdev, even though he had mystic abilities, he did not manifest any of those, because that was not needed. One more thing that we also should understand is Maharaj Rishabdev here is displaying the opulence of renunciation. So he's not even preaching, complete detachment. He was behaving like a madman. Therefore, he did not display anything at all here. But of course, now Shukadeva Goswami will give a more detailed explanation. Text 2. Rishir Uvacha. Satyam uktam kintva ihva ekena manasodha vishrambham anavasthanasya shatha kirata iva sangachante.
Satyam uktam kintu iva ekena manasodha vishrambham anavasthanasya shatha kirata iva sangachante.
Yeah, would someone like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I read?
Yeah.
Translation. Shukadev Goswami replied, "My dear king, you have spoken correctly. However, after capturing animals, a cunning hunter does not put faith in them, for they might run away. Similarly, those who are advanced in spiritual life do not put faith in the mind. Indeed, they always remain vigilant and watch the mind's action." Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 18.5, Lord Krishna says, "Yagna dana tapa karma na tyajyam karyam evatat yagno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam." Acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the great souls. Even one who has renounced the world and has taken sannyas should not renounce chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Renunciation does not mean that one has to renounce Sankirtan Yajna. Similarly, one should not renounce charity or tapasya. The yoga system for control of mind and senses must be strictly followed. Lord Rishabdev showed how severe types of tapasya could be performed, and he set an example for all others. Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. After capturing animals, a cunning hunter does not put faith in them, for they might run away. So this is something Srila Prabhupada has also mentioned in so many of his conversations. So once Srila Prabhupada was asked that Krishna says that, Yad Gatvan Anivartante Tadham Paramam Mama. So if one comes to my abode, he never comes back. So Srila Prabhupada explains, he says, yes, having suffered in the material world once, you wouldn't want to come back here. But there is no guarantee. Living entity is a chuta. He can fall down any moment. He can fall down again and again. Anytime. Krishnera bahir mukhnaya bhogavancha kare nikatestha maya tara japatiya dhare. There is no regulation. There is no rule that, once you have surrendered to Krishna, you will never fall down. You will normally never fall down because you wouldn't want to taste this material world again. But there is no guarantee. If you desire again, you will again fall down. So therefore, even a great yogi who has achieved perfection does not take chances with the senses. In one of his conversations, Srila Prabhupada mentions that activities of karma kanda or material enjoyment, they, even though they are under the rules and regulations of the Vedas, they are still dangerous for a yogi. One may become complacent and again fall down. So, for instance, like someone may take to grihastha ashram, thinking that, okay, I am acting under rules and regulations, but senses are still active. So, any moment the senses can go wild. Why why take chances with senses? That's why in the previous ages, yogis would go to the forest to meditate. Brahmacharis used to live in ashrams in the forest. So not that they were living in cities. So situation is very dangerous now. And that's why we see so many brahmacharis and even sannyasis fall down. Because they are living with Maya. So one has to take all kinds of precautions. Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that senses are so powerful that even one sense can carry away, just like the wind can carry away a boat. So just like that, even one sense which has been neglected can carry away the whole consciousness of a living entity. Therefore, a yogi should control the senses even after liberation, because there is no guarantee. Living entity can always come under the domain of Maya. So therefore, Maharaj Rishabdev, by his own example, showed how austerity is performed. So this question, last chapter also this question had come many times. Why did Rishabdev not come to the society to preach? Why didn't he become a Parivrajacharya? So this is the answer here. Maharaj Rishabdev was indicating the level of austerity a man can perform to become free from the clutches of Maya. So even if one is advancing in bhakti, one should be very particular. One can never think, oh, I am a strict brahmachari, I am a strict sannyasi, I am not attracted to women, so I can talk. What's the big deal? She's like my daughter, she's like my mother. How do I care? I can talk. Or, that I am such a strict brahmachari, I have no attraction to women. Even if I talk, nothing will happen. No, Maya is very strong. Prakritehe kriyamanani gunaye karmani sarvasha. Any moment mind can become attached. There is no guarantee. One may think, oh, this woman is not so beautiful. How does it matter? I can talk. But no, that's not how the Shastras are talking. The Shastras are giving utmost precaution. Utmost precaution. Like you see, there was a railway accident some 3-4 weeks ago. What happened? There was minor neglect. One minor neglect. Somebody forgot to change the track, or somebody just changed the signal at the last moment. And such a major disaster. Some people were saying that at least 1,000 men were killed. So you can see how dangerous this world is. So just like that, in our tapasya, in our bhakti also, one moment of carelessness and we will fall down immediately. We have to be very, very careful. Hare Krishna. Yes. Any questions? Okay. We can.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhuji, we fall down from the spiritual world basically because we develop a little bit of envy to the Lord. That is. But I always had this question in mind that how does envy find entry into the spiritual world? That.
See, it's not even the kind of, like, the technical term is envy there, but it is not the envy we see here in this world. See, it's like this. It's just a desire to be separate from the Lord. Krishnera bahir mukhai. Just a little desire to be away from Krishna. In the spiritual world, see, we are eternal parts and parcels of Krishna. If there is even a trace of a desire to be away from Krishna, immediately there is Maya. So it doesn't begin, Maya doesn't begin in a horrible fashion like we are seeing right now. It's not like greed, anger, envy, lust immediately at that time. The life begins as the Jiva begins his life as Brahma. And there he can see the Lord. He can again sit with the Lord. But the gunas start acting on him. So even a personality like Brahma becomes attracted to his own daughter, Vaka. And he has the desire to create. And therefore he becomes angry when his own sons refuse to to procreate and they become brahmacharis. So you see, so this gradation of Maya is very, very subtle. First very layer is Ahankar, which is very subtle. So there is, in the first layer of Ahankar, we are not even inimical to Krishna. Demigods, they are very friendly with Krishna. Indra has Upendra as his younger brother. Imagine Krishna having Krishna as your brother. But still there is attraction towards the material energy, which is technically known as envy, but it is not really that envy which we see in this world here. It's just a desire to enjoy separately from Krishna.
But probably every jiva doesn't begin as Brahma. No?
Well, Prabhupada mentioned that jiva begins his life as Brahma. So you can see, we keep on falling. We keep on falling from time immemorial.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I didn't get to your voice was breaking.
See, So, see, from time immemorial we have fallen. So technically, and you see, this is like, it's very difficult to explain also because there is no time in spiritual world. So we cannot really say at what time we fell down. So living entities have been constantly falling from time immemorial, from like eternity they have been falling. So there are all grades of living entities. You cannot imagine our consciousness right now has been shaped by trillions and trillions of sanskaras over millions and billions of lives. We don't know how many lives. So in the beginning, when the living entity falls into the material world, he cannot have any bad sanskaras because he's coming from Golok directly, from Vaikuntha, spiritual world directly. So therefore, if his sanskaras are so pure, there can be only one contamination. That is the desire to be separate from Krishna. So in that stage, he'll still be very pious, but with a separatist mindset. So therefore, logically also, the living entity should become Brahma.
And since we can, since there are so many billions and trillions of universes and each having a Brahma, so many Brahmas can be accommodated also.
Yeah, they've been like coming, and then some Brahmas are pure souls, some are not, so they fall down. So this kind of the cycle continues. This consciousness continuously degrades or upgrades, then living entities go up and down.
That means we can also say that if everyone begins as a Brahma, then we also know that Brahma at the time of Pralaya goes back to the spiritual world.
Yeah,
that means many living entities just go back with that one birth of Brahma.
So there are also some living entities like say the fourth Kumaras who are very pure and they remain pure. They are never contaminated. They are spiritual masters. So there are varieties and varieties of living entities. But in the beginning stage of fall down, the living entity is very pure. So I was just heard as a statement from Prabhupada. I'll try to find some exact Shastric reference for this. But logically we can understand that immediately on falling from spiritual world, living entity cannot be inimical to Krishna. He cannot become like a snake or a demon.
Even if he doesn't become a Brahma, he may be in Brahma Lok.
Yeah, but there are living entities there also. So the same standard as Brahma. So I mean, like Jai Vijay are exceptional. They fall down directly. They're like that's their service.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Chapter 3. तथा चोक्तम न कुर्यात् करिचित् सख्यम मनसि हि अनवस्थिते यद विश्रम्भात् चिरात् जीर्णम् जस्कन्द तपाईश्वरम Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, translation proposed by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. All the learned scholars have given their opinions. The mind is by nature very restless, and one should not make a friend with it. If we place full confidence in the mind, it may cheat us at any moment. Even Lord Shiva became agitated upon seeing the Mohini form of Lord Krishna. And Subhadip Muni also fell down from the mature stage of yoga perfection. But what? The first business of one trying to advance in the spiritual life is to control the mind and senses, as Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mamma Jiva Loki, Jeev Bhuti Sanatana, Manasantani Vidyani, Prakriti Thani Arshati. All the living entities are part and parcel of Supreme Lord and are therefore in a transitional position. They are still suffering in this material world and struggling for existence due to the mind and the senses. To get out of the false struggle for existence and become happy of the material world, one has to control the mind and senses and be detached from material conditions. One should never neglect austerities and penance. One should always perform them. Lord Rishabdev personally showed us how to do this. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 9.19.70, it is specifically stated, Matra Sastra Matra Sastra Dhutva Ivai Nave Viksato Bhavate Balvan Indiani Garbe Vidyasmini Api Kashtati. A Grihastha, a Manaspat, Sannyasi and Brahmachari should be very careful when associating with the woman. One is forbidden to sit down in a solitary place even with one's mother, sister or daughter. In our Krishna conscious movement, it has been very difficult to dissociate ourselves from women in our society, especially in Western countries. We are therefore sometimes criticized, but nonetheless, we are trying to give everyone a chance to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and thus advance spiritually. If we stick to the principles of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, then the grace of Haridas Thakur, we may be saved from the allurement of women. However, if we are not very strict in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we may at any time fall victim to women. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandapana.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. All the learned scholars have given their opinion. The mind is by very nature very restless, and one should not make friends with it. If we place full confidence in the mind, it may cheat us at any moment. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balavat dridham. That's what Arjuna is saying. Pramathi balavat dridham. Pramathi is mad. The word pramada means madness. So pramathi balavat, very powerful, and dridham, obstinate. It's like a wild bull or a wild elephant. Who can make friends with a wild bull or a wild elephant? You never know what's going to happen. So therefore, mind should never be trusted. And how is so? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says, every morning beat your mind 100 times with a broom and in the night 100 times with shoes. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that you beat your own head with that. What it means is that you control yourself with the instructions of the Shastras. So beat your mind with 100 times with broom and 100 times with shoes. What does that really mean? Okay, I can talk to this Mataji. She's nice, it's okay. I don't feel anything. It's okay, I can talk with her freely. No problem. No, that is the mind tricking. Or maybe I can just do this much and I'm okay. No, that is all mind tricking. Big sages have fallen down. What is our position? Vishwamitra, He just wanted to see who's making that sound. He just wanted to see. He heard ankle bells. He just wanted to see who's there. And he fell down. So you see, that's the condition. It's not that Vishwamitra immediately became captivated and he ran like some maddened fool. No. Vishwamitra saw her beauty and Dhayato Vishayana Pumsha Sangasteshu Pajayate, he became attached to her beauty. So that's the position. And we've seen the story of Maharaj Agnitra also. And Maharaj Prachina Barhishat, all captivated by materialism. So this is not just applicable to man, woman, or something. But it is also applicable to gadgets and other things. Oh, I can drive my car, no problem. I can play with my computer, no problem. No, mind will carry you away. Mind will always create. Mind is the repository of all desires. See here, what is Bhagavad Gita mentioning here? Manaha shasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Manaha shasthani indriyani. 6 senses, of which mind is the topmost. So mind is generating like endless desires. Senses come in contact with some object and mind immediately desires it. Oh, I like that shirt, I like that biscuit, I like that cake, I like this, I like that. Always one desire after another, always desiring something. So, and a yogi eventually will realize that all his life was wasted in just chasing those desires. So therefore, if we want to control the mind, we have to first control the senses. In the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is mentioning that a yogi withdraws his senses from their objects just like a turtle withdraws, just like a tortoise withdraws his limbs. So yogi withdraws his senses. Sense objects will always be there. In this material world, even if you go down to the lowest hellish planets, you will still find something enjoyable. That's the nature of mind. And that enjoyment keeps us bound to this material world. So therefore, austerities and penances are never to be renounced. They are never to be given up. They are never to be neglected. Matra swasra duhitrava na viviksano bhavet balvan indriya gramo vidvamsham api karshati. So one is forbidden to sit down in a solitary place even with one's mother, sister or daughter. So you see, so the last part of this verse is very important. Vidvamsam api karshati. Even these senses, balavan indriya gramo, the sense objects, the senses, they are so strong. Vidvamsam api karshati, that they can attract even a knowledgeable man, a pandit, a shastri. Like I know of so many of my godbrothers who are great scholars, and they all got married, they all fell down. Only for one reason. Dhyato Vishayana Pumsha. Oh Prabhu, this Mataji is nice. She comes to the temple, she's serving me. And then maybe, maybe the rest life would be better, in this ashram, what will I do? Well, that is all the allurings of Maya. Anyone who listens to the mind will definitely fall down. So therefore, even a great scholar must not neglect penances and austerities. So here in our movement, here Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, nonetheless, we are trying to give everyone a chance to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and thus advance spiritually. So here again, and here Prabhupada is making a very important condition. If we stick to the principle of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, then by the grace of Srila Haridas Thakur, we may be saved from the allurement of women. If we don't do that, then it will become like, I mean, I don't want to criticize anyone, but I have seen this. Like, I met some Americans some time ago, and in some places in America, it seems they even have like a ballroom kind of a culture. Boys and girls are sitting together hand in hand, and then they're chanting. That's nonsense. That's complete nonsense. Instead of fighting Maya, like one Mataji even became offended when we told her to stay separate. This happened in Mayapur. So you see, if we don't fight Maya, Maya will completely swallow us. Srila Prabhupada did not create some kind of a hippie society. We are not a free sex club where men and women are mixing freely and changing husbands and wives. That's a dog culture. We should completely avoid. See, if we focus on chanting very carefully, if we constantly meditate on the chanting and reading, then we'll become free somehow or the other. It's a very difficult chance. So Srila Prabhupada is writing, If we stick to the principle strictly, chanting offenselessly, then we may be saved. So you see, it's so difficult. Material world is a very difficult place. Even the strong, like Mayavadi Acharya, Adi Shankara, even he's saying, Iha sansare bahu dushtare, kripaya pare pahi murare. This material world is very, very difficult to overcome. Kripaya pare pahi murare. Please deliver me, my Lord Murari. So that's the prayer of Adi Shankara. So this material world is a very, very difficult place to overcome. Mama maya duratyaya, mama eva ye prapadyante, maya metam tarantite. So please meditate very carefully on this verse. Daivi yesha gunamayi, mama maya duratyaya. This material energy composed of the three modes of nature is very difficult to overcome. Mama eva ye prapadyante. Those who surrender to me, maya metam tarantite. I deliver them from this material nature. I can deliver. But what's the question? What's the condition? Prapadyante. Mama eva ye prapadyante. Those who surrender to me. So we have to surrender. And what is surrender to Krishna? Krishna will not come personally to collect our surrender. So Guru, we have to listen to the instruction of the spiritual master. Doesn't matter whether it's Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. It's the same thing. Because Siddhant is coming directly. In a university, there are professors, there are assistant professors, lecturers, and assistants. It doesn't matter. They are all the same faculty. Department of Electrical Engineering, assistant professor, so-and-so. It doesn't mean that you'll only listen to the professor and not to the assistant professor or lecturer or the teaching assistant. No, everyone is representing the same Siddhant. So therefore, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru doesn't make any difference. The Siddhant remains the same. Guru is Tattva. We have to surrender to that Tattva. If you don't surrender, then it's all a mockery. It's not really devotional life at all. It's just like, you cannot say that this is my opinion. I feel this way. If you feel this way, then, good for you. You'll stay in material world forever and ever. If you feel that you are a nationalist, if you feel you are a professional, well, you keep on feeling life after life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, my spiritual master considered me a fool. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, it's the best policy to be a fool in front of the spiritual master. One cannot go to the spiritual master and say, spiritual master, I am an expert. Well, then you remain an expert in the material world. So you see how dangerous this material world is, how extremely dangerous. One does not play around with a disease like cancer. The disease of Maya is 100 times more dangerous than cancer. Actually, cancer will only kill your body. Maya can kill your consciousness. Yes. Text 4. If someone has any questions, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll continue. Nityam dadati kamasya Sidram tam anuyeraya.
Sidram tam enu yatiya.
Yogina kratamaitrasya
Yogina kratimasya.
Patyurjayeva pumshtali.
Patyurjayase punyasi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam.
May I read?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Thank you. Translation. An unchaste woman is very easily carried away by paramours, and it sometimes happens that her husband is violently killed by her paramours. If the yogi gives his mind a chance to and does not restrain it, his mind will give facility to enemies like lust, anger, and greed, and they will doubtlessly kill the yogi. Purport. In this verse, the word Pumsachali refers to a woman who is easily carried away by men. Such a woman is never to be trusted. Unfortunately, in the present age, women are never controlled. According to the directions of the Shastras, women are never to be given freedom. When a child, a woman must be strictly controlled by her father. When she is young, she must be strictly controlled by her husband, and when she is old, she must be controlled by her elderly son. If she is given independence and allowed to mingle unrestrictedly with men, she will be spoiled. A spoiled woman being manipulated by paramours might even kill her husband.
This example is given here because a yogi desiring to get free from material conditions must always keep his mind under control. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that in the morning, our first business should be to beat the mind with shoes 100 times, and before going to bed, to beat the mind 100 times with a broomstick. In this way, one's mind can be kept under control. An uncontrolled mind and unchaste wife are the same. An unchaste wife can kill her husband at any time, and an uncontrolled mind, followed by lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, and illusion, can certainly kill the yogi. When the yogi is controlled by the mind, he falls down into the material condition. One should be very careful of the mind, just as a husband should be careful of an unchaste wife. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari Krishna.
Well, there you are. Purport is very clear. So, like an unchaste wife is actually compared to a snake living in the house. So, that if you live with a snake in the house, you are bound to be killed one day. So you see, today's society is practically like that. Like it's even in India, like it's common for a woman to have a couple of partners before she gets married. So this is all Varna Sankara. That's why you see all the society is Varna Sankara. The chastity of women, as we have discussed previously, also in the case of Kardam Muni at that time, also in that chapter, it's the mental chastity we're talking of. Physical comes much, much, much later. If the mind is unchaste, then the woman is already gone. As we have discussed previously also, a living entity takes a female birth after the male birth. So it's a step down from a male birth, because when the mode of passion, if a man does not control the mode of passion and ignorance and indulges more and more in lusty activities, he takes the body of a female. Because senses can be enjoyed better in a female body, not in a male body. Male body is actually not very good for enjoying the senses, particularly sex life, which is like you can say the epitome of material enjoyment. That cannot be really enjoyed in male body. It is really meant to be enjoyed in a female body. Likewise, the sense of taste, color, hearing, smell. Male body is not good for any of these. Male body is only good for tapasya, for austerity. That's why men are allowed to take sannyas. Sannyas is very harsh. Sannyas is not at all like what we think, okay, comfortable apartment with 2-3 servants and enjoying life, eating whatever, traveling business class. That's not sannyas. Sannyas literally means traveling from forest to forest. A sannyasi is just supposed to have his kamandalu, his stick, and kopin, nothing else. Mahaprabhu, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll understand what sannyas really means. Sannyas doesn't mean unmarried, okay, no wife. That is not sannyas. No girlfriend is not brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, sannyas, they mean complete dedication to the Lord, with exception to everything else. Not that, I have all the luxuries of life and I am not married, so I am sannyasi. No. Sannyasi means just traveling from forest to forest, no attachment to anything, no followers also. Sannyasi is allowed to have a servant, but sometimes sannyasis don't even want that. That's sannyas. Sannyas, complete detachment. So it's very physically tough. And sometimes the sannyasi may even die because of physical austerity. So a womanly body cannot take that kind. So therefore, sannyas is forbidden. And mind is also not stable. Like a man can live alone. Yogis, they live in caves, they live in forests. Women cannot live alone. They always want some friendship, some association. Therefore, they must live in a family. If they become sannyasinis, then they'll indulge in all sorts of nonsense. So, so mind is also exactly like that. Mind can never be left independent. Mind should always be controlled with intelligence. And controlling with intelligence means by reading books, by understanding, by adhyayan, by shastra, swadhyaya, the study of shastras, by sadhu sang, by strong instructions. So when we say beating with 100 times with shoes and 100 times with broomstick, what we mean is by strict instructions from the shastras, hearing from the sadhus. That's why Srila Prabhupada created this program of morning Bhagavatam classes, so that 1 hour at least every day one hears Bhagavatam. In fact, at one time when one temple resident was going away to do some seva, Prabhupada got very angry. He said, stop him. what service is he going to do? If he doesn't know the philosophy, he'll only do nonsense. He must hear Bhagavatam. But today we see that everyone neglects Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is like an optional subject now. We can chant if we want, but Bhagavatam is completely all right to miss. So that's a dangerous, that's a suicidal fallacy. So mind must be controlled by good instructions. So when I was in Ujjain many years ago, around 16 years ago, in Ujjain temple, they had a very nice, nice kind of a setup. Morning it would be Bhagavatam and evening would be Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in this way, mornings and evenings were all occupied. So nobody had any time to think nonsense at least. At least the temple gave that opportunity. So therefore, just like a husband must control an unchaste wife, the yogi must control his unchaste mind with the help of instructions of the scriptures and sadhus. Okay. Yeah. Any questions or comments? Okay, then we stop here today. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Jai. Thank you, Babaji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.